I've been getting a lot of questions about the NFL Combine. People are asking me, why haven't you covered the Combine more? What do you think about this guy's bench press? What about this guy's 40-yard dash time? How about Joe Burrow's hand size? Ooh. Let me answer all those questions. I got a litany of them. Instead of doing an episode dedicated to the Combine, I'll just say this. I don't care that much about the NFL Combine. I don't. I just... It's not that I hate the Combine. It's nothing like that. But a large majority of the stuff you hear coming out of the NFL Combine is nonsense. It just is. And I don't know. For example, Joe Burrow's hand size. It's an overstated storyline. Go watch the film. Do we need to really question Joe Burrow's ability to throw a football? We saw Joe Burrow play last year in college football. He literally had, I'm not even kidding, the best regular season in the history of quarterback in college football. Nobody's ever had a better quarterback season than Joe Burrow did last year. Who cares how big his hands are? I don't. And that's one of the leading storylines from the Combine was Joe Burrow's hands. I'm like, right off the bat, it was a bad start, and I was like, I'm not going to care. And the NFL teams I've talked to say that the most valuable part of the Combine is the interviews. They get to sit down and talk to young men that are getting ready to play in the NFL. You get to meet guys face to face. You get to know them. You learn about their personality. You get to shake their hand. Again, most of the Combine stuff is nonsense and kind of meaningless. There are all these talking points. All the numbers, bench press, 40-yard dash. The hype is ridiculous. Bruce Arians, the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, gave a really good quote. He said this. This is what Bruce Arians said. He said, you might run a 4.3 at the Combine, but your tape will say you run a 4.6. You might run a 4.6, but the tape will say you run a 4.4. The tape don't lie. The Combine lies, and you can fall in love with the Combine and then get your butt broke. And he didn't say butt. He said a different word I don't say on this podcast. There are so many factors behind the numbers guys put out at the Combine. Technique. Look, the 40-yard dash is so much about your technique and how you get off the line. Then there's nerves. Is a guy nervous? Does he test well? Who knows? He might be great on a Sunday, but hey, come test day, he's nervous. Who knows? The health plays a part. Are you sick? Is your hamstring messed up? How's your ankle? The testing at the Combine is such a limited sample size. And I personally, I don't trust it too much. I just don't. And the NFL teams I've talked to don't give it that much weight either. They're just like, it's interesting. But you got to realize a lot of weird factors play a part on the Combine testing day. Again, was the guy sick? Was his ankle sore? Again, bad technique at the 40-yard dash can really, really mess up your time. You can be really football fast. You're great when you're in the moment playing football, and getting off the line at a 40-yard dash, you're just not the same player. That's really a thing. Now, the reason why the mainstream media talks so much about the Combine is because it gives them clicks. Let's be honest. That's what happens. It's February. There's not a lot to talk about. There's not a lot to pay attention to for a fan. The Combine is full of filler content. And all the numbers helps the players, not the teams, right? All the stuff about, there's a bunch of lists that come out. You look at Instagram the week of the Combine. These are the top 5 bench press. These are the top 5 40-yard dash times, the top 5 vertical jump. And if you're at the top of the list, it gets your name out there. Ooh, a lot of people learn the name of people that had the highest vertical jump and the best 40-yard dash time. They become names you've heard of when they wouldn't have necessarily been before. It's all marketing. It's all marketing to help the players get known. Now, the Combine is good. The Combine is a very good thing. It helps market the players, and it allows NFL teams to interview the people they're going to hire to be a part of their franchise. But the NFL Combine simply is not about the numbers anymore. It's just not. It's more of a gigantic conference where you can shake hands and get to know people. That's the most important part. Scouts come talk to each other. General managers come talk to each other. They all talk to the players. It's a big deal, but it's not necessarily about the testing numbers that you're marketed that it's supposed to be. It's this huge event, and it's really more of a social event. But it also provides a lot of content, right? The media loves the Combine because there are so many little things you can hype up and have as storylines. Now, the reality that people don't like to hear is that most of the content, Most of the stuff you hear come out of the combine is filler nonsense. It's just not a big deal. It doesn't matter. I mean, the Patriots head coach, Bill Belichick, wasn't even at the start of the NFL Combine. He was at Middle Tennessee State scouting a guy named Tyshun Render, a defensive end from Middle Tennessee State. That's where Bill Belichick was when the NFL Combine began. Again, it's a social event more than it's about the numbers. And if you're going to scout a player, what you see on film is so much more valuable than the numbers that are output at the NFL Combine. They're just, as the Combine started in the 80s, and as the years go on, the testing numbers become less and less relevant to teams, and the interviews become more and more important. Film doesn't lie. Bruce Arians said it in his quote, "A guy can look fast in gym shorts, but on the field, in pads, playing football, might not look the same speed." It's a real thing. And what's really, really irritating to me, I know the quarterback position really well. That's what I know best. And, you have quarterbacks throwing in gym shorts to receivers in gym shorts. There's no pressure. It's all on air. And everybody says, well, this guy had a great day. And I'm like, yeah, he better. Justin Herbert better look really good throwing with no pressure in his face, no pads, no defender, just a receiver running routes on air. You better look good. I don't understand all this hype. Like, every quarterback looks pretty good throwing at the NFL Combine. And if you don't, it's a gigantic red flag. All the Combine can do is hurt you if you're throwing. Literally, that's all it does. But film matters so much more, especially with quarterbacks. Teams are like, well, this guy went way up the rankings because he threw the ball well at the Combine. He made terrible decisions last year in college football. Decision-making's more important. Everybody can throw. Some can throw way better than others, but you already would know that going into the Combine. You shouldn't take the Combine, watching a guy throw there, to understand whether they're good or not. A lot of it's just fodder. It's nonsense. It's for the fans. It's to help players get their names out. But NFL teams don't care about this stuff. The throwing, the running, they want to talk to people and get to know them, but they watch the tape. They know how a player plays. Film matters more. And again, every single quarterback better look good throwing in gym shorts. It just is ridiculous. People are like, this guy moved way up the charts. Not okay. Like, it's kind of ridiculous. Now, here's where the Combine helps. The Combine is really good for two types of players. Number one, it helps small school guys who played at really tiny colleges, Division II, D1 AA schools. And like a Division II guy probably isn't at the Combine, but a guy who plays Division I AA, a guy played at, I believe, Rhode Island, Zay something, had a great 40-yard dash time, and people went, oh, good. Because here's the thing. When Zay was playing at Rhode Island, he wasn't playing against top talent in the nation. So he had nothing really to compare him to. You go, okay, wow. We can see on paper he really is as fast as the tape shows. Because we wanted to see how he stacked up against a guy from Alabama. He might be fast at Division I, the lower level. But is he really fast against the top-level guys? Oh, he is. But here's the other thing. That's what the Senior Bowl is for. All the Senior Bowl stuff allows you to get a guy in pads running on a field next to another guy from a bigger school. If you want to make a name for yourself, do it at the Senior Bowl. Again, the 40-yard dash time is so overstated at the NFL Combine. Here are the other people that it helps. So the Combine helps teams get a sense of a player's character. Everybody benefits from this thing. Teams love it because they get to interview a guy, talk to him, but it's especially helpful for a guy who has a questionable narrative about his character, a guy who has work ethic problems, reportedly, or a guy who's had off-the-field issues. A team can ask them directly, hey, what's up with this? What's up with your work ethic? What's up with this thing where you got in trouble? What's up with this or that? And a player has to respond directly. It's literally a job interview. That's great. People love that. It's really good for that. But again, I want to repeat this. The Combine is less about the numbers. I mean, the numbers are a silly, sideshow. The testing was so important in the 80s. But now we have way more film. We have way more information than ever. We have Google's a thing. When the Combine started, it was really hard to find information on players. It was really valuable. The numbers and the testing at the Combine are so less valuable now than they were before. A lot of it now is marketability. Oh, this guy's fast. This guy's strong. Get your name out on Instagram, literally. Today, the NFL Combine, the most valuable thing it does is allows teams to meet players face-to-face in an interview setting. Now, the media hypes up the numbers. It gives them clicks. It promotes players. It's not a bad thing. The combine, all that stuff, the testing numbers, I'm giving it a hard time. It's good for the players. It allows them to market their names. But all those testing numbers, the 40-yard dash, the bench press, the 3-cone drill, it matters a lot less than people in the media like to pretend. The most important thing that happens at the NFL Combine is teams get to meet players face-to-face, shake their hands, and get to know them. That is the true value of the NFL Combine.